Hello everybody, KyleTheGreat here to break down my FE exam experience. I am not only making this for the people who will be taking an FE exam, but as a deep dive into what I've been up to professionally, which is something I don't do very often since it's not very entertaining. But I'll do my best to strike that balance here. No breaks for future Kyle though, since this is fully scripted. Okay, so I took my Fundamentals of Engineering Civil exam earlier this week, but really the process started months prior. I started studying on and off starting in late November with a non-NCEES reference book, but got really serious about studying mid-January. This is actually my rescheduled date since I realized how much content was on the FE Civil exam, and though the FE exams are different when it comes to scope and length, the FE Civil exam was 6 hours and 110 problems, ranging from every concentration of the civil engineering world. The main thing to note here, and a tip I have for everyone else taking an FE exam, is give yourself enough time to study. Humans, we procrastinate and push things off until the last second. Make yourself a plan and stick to it. That is what I ended up doing once I changed my exam date, and until a monkey wrench got thrown in, I felt like this would be a cakewalk. Spoiler, it really wasn't. So the day prior to the exam, I bought some prep food like breakfast burritos, granola, yogurt, protein bars, stuff that would fuel me for the day of. Cereal is not always enough when you're about to rack your brain for 6 hours. In the days prior to the exam, I took practice exams, one from a non-NCEES guide and one being from the NCEES. And let's just say, if I took the NCEES practice exam sooner than the day prior to the exam, I would have known how screwed I was in some concentrations of civil engineering. But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Like a bust. Another tip, this may just be me, but if the institute that administers the exam has practice material, it may be wise to use it. The book for the practice exam I got off Amazon for $30. In comparison, the non-reference book, which came with practice problems too, cost me $50. And though it did provide a good overview, it really did not prepare me for the type of questions on the exam. Moving on now, exam night I tried to go to bed early, yet sleep was tough to come by. My adrenaline was probably already rising, so I was more in and out consciousness than actually sleeping, which is always nice. But I got out of bed an hour or so before I had to leave, and I ate good, even though my stomach was not having any of it. To cut to the chase, I got to the place on time, maybe got to the room a minute or so late, but there was a line so it did not matter. I think I might have been the only one there that was taking the Civil FE. But hearing in on the other exams when in line, depending on the exam you take, you will have liberties that other exam takers will not. My exam was 6 hours long, the exam had 2 portions and had an optional 25-minute break that you can do practically whatever during. Even review the material that you knew would be on the second half of the exam. This leads to another tip. Know the liberties of your exam. Many exam takers cannot leave the building even if they were granted a break. These liberties are likely based around the structure of the exam, which is also a good thing to know going in. So it was my turn at the desk to check in for the exam, and I practically could not take anything into the exam room. They provided pens and reusable papers, in quotes, to use for work, and you were told not to erase any of your work, even though mine got a bit faded over time. They also provided noise-canceling headphones or earplugs if you hate the white noise of other people working. They gave me a key to a locker to hold my stuff, and that is where I stored most of my belongings. I was, however, able to bring my calculator in, though without the back on it. They are very particular about the calculator you bring in, and I cannot even bring in a water without proper accommodations. Now I can drink as much as I want though. Another tip, this goes without saying, but know how to use your calculator. I found out pretty late that my calculator does not do powers very well, and I had to use review time fixing these errors which lost me time, which was scarce to begin with. Okay, so now I am in the room, and there are probably about 10 to 15 other people in the room taking exams. This will differ depending on where you go, but the whole room is being monitored. Not like you could cheat though. The computer you will be using has no access to the internet and is locked to your exam. The test starts with a disclosure and a tutorial, and then you are on your way. These 2 sections are timed, which is redundant since after the tutorial there is no timer for actually starting the test, or at least there wasn't for me. I would use this time to collect your bearings since the next couple of hours will be a bit hectic, so breathe a bit, get to your happy place, just to get ripped from it when you click start. At this point, the exams will differ heavily. I can only speak on behalf of the FE Civil exam. I may not be able to speak on any of the problems, but it seemed more fair than not. You are provided a PDF-ish file to look for information and equations. but it is the same booklet for all engineering exams, so it would be wise to get comfortable with the PDF. It is free and you can easily find it on the NCAA's website, but it is over 500 pages. But you can use search terms, so it would be wise to know more specific terms you can use to find what you need. Anything that is not in the book are more conceptual problems, but again, this may differ depending on the exam. So, some tips for exam taking, which are generally easier said than done, are keep track of your time, leave time at the end for review, and do not get hung up on a problem if you do not know how to do it. Oh, and answer all questions. At least for me, most exam questions were multiple choice, and a 1/4 chance is better than a 0% chance. I did this stuff pretty well. I took exactly half my time before my break, used the entirety of my break, and used every last second for the second half of the exam. I ended up only leaving about 5-ish questions up to absolute chance, but I still answered them, so 25% chance. And out of 110 problems, this is pretty good. After the exam, I returned all the materials they provided at the beginning, I collected my belongings from the locker, jokingly said I hope not to see them again in 3 months, and left. After this experience, my key takeaways are as follows. Start studying way ahead of time. Look up how long it is suggested you should study before taking the exam. I did, but did not care. But in hindsight, maybe more studying would have made it easier. Also, do research on what study material would benefit you the most. The night before, go to bed early, and in the morning, eat a good breakfast. A fire can only burn for as long as it is fueled, so start the fire hot and refuel during the break if you have one. Know the exam layout and be prepared with what you can bring into the exam, and be comfortable with what is provided to you during the exam. Like and subscribe if you are enjoying the video. That's important. And probably the best tip of all, don't lose your head. It might be stressful and it would be easy to get flustered, but you don't have the time for that. If you need to take a quick breather to collect your bearings, that is fine, and some exams might be a bit more lenient, but time is of the essence. Get into your zone, and be ready for the ride ahead. And that's that. At this point, I do not know if I passed or failed since it takes 7 to 10 days, but I will pin it in the comments if I pass, and I might forget to put it in the comments altogether if I failed. But anyway, thanks for sticking with me until the end, and I wish you luck in any exam you may be taking. And now, as always, I will see you in the next video. See ya!